Yes, 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 yes. It's the O Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, CW. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure to hit that bell on YouTube and subscribe to the podcast on any and all podcasting platforms. Today, we're talking about Post Wrestlemania Pushes that need to happen per the OWP podcast. The OWP, let's say. The P stands for podcast. We're past WrestleMania. I say it every episode now, but that brings with it a lot of possibility and potential for wrestlers to get over, people who weren't in the spotlight to get in the spotlight. Think of it this way. Post WrestleMania last year, who knew that Sami Zayn would be the hottest commodity in WWE? The man captured the hearts and minds of the crowd around July of 2022, and now he's unified tag champs with Kevin Owens post WrestleMania. That's what a push can get you. And apparently that storyline was only meant to be a couple of weeks. He was there to, get a laugh out of the crowd and kind of put Roman over, put the bloodline over, and he just stuck. People liked seeing him with Roman Reigns, and it formed this whole story around Sami Zayn being, part of the bloodline. Impeccable writing, just a great story all around. But it shows the power of a push post WrestleMania. Now, we are on the heels of a very, mediocre Raw and an okay SmackDown. The SmackDown was fine. But with that brings potential for new people to jump in the spotlight. And I have a list of folks that I would like to see get a push or at least get some shine so that maybe they can get, roped into an angle with a hotter angle and then get over some. So let's get into this list. First on the list, as always, first on my list always, Chad Gable. Chad Gable is the closest thing WWE has to a Kurt Angle style performer. The man is incredible. You watch him in the ring, he's currently performing as a utility player. Like, he gets in there and he makes people look good. That's his job right now, but he needs so much more. In the past, he's been held back by his height. A large gimmick that he had was Shorty G, which, was Vince McMahon's way of kind of taking the piss out of him. And he weathered it. He went through it. Again, it's a business. But now he's in a very advantageous position to be the next version of, a Kurt Angle or the first Chad Gable. Now, the Alpha Academy is kind of not on the outs, but they're a comedy duo that's kind of splitting up now with Otis. Whew, lost that name for a second there. With Otis heading over to Maxim Male Models potentially. If that's the case, hopefully Chad Gable can work his way into a U.S. title scene, or if the WWE draft comes around and he goes to SmackDown and, Otis stays on Raw with the models, hopefully he can get an IC run. What a David and Goliath takedown it would be if Chad Gable pinned Gunther for that belt. Ooh, look, if you haven't seen Gable cut a great promo, he cuts them. I mean, anytime he's handed the mic, he does a great job. But go watch some of the old Up, Up, Down, Down GM modes. I think it was season 2, where they started recording wrestler promos for their GM game. Chad Gable cut some of the best promos in that, little GM mode thing. And he had one that I think he should bring to TV, which was, he was always ready, willing, and Gable. Hopefully he can bring that sort of energy to live television, because he cut great promos as that version of his own character. So that's number 1 on my list. Number 2, the LWO / Legado del Fantasma. They are elevated now that they've, paired up with Rey Mysterio. I think Rey saw something in them. I saw something in them when I first started watching. I love Santos Escobar's style. I love his whole vibe. I love the group is definitely geared towards him. He is the star of that group, the same way Hit Row had Swerve Strickland. He was the star. When he left, Hit Row kind of took a hit. If Santos were to leave the LWO, that group doesn't function anymore. But right now, I mean, they're hot. They're, baby faces now. So hopefully they get a nice push with Rhea Ripley moving over to SmackDown as the champ. That means Judgment Day is going to be showing up on SmackDown quite a bit more, if not all the time, if, the brand split remains. And the LWO gives them something to fight. We need more factions. Next on the list, Nikki Cross. Nikki Cross was able to shed the gimmick, the superhero gimmick, which hasn't been done right since the Hurricane. And even then it was kind of, whatever. So now she's back to her manic self, but she hasn't really wrestled as that. And they started tweaking her character that she was more of a lonely, depressed stalker versus, like a crazed maniac. So hopefully they stick with the crazed maniac and give some of the women's division, a run for their money with, a crazy act who can potentially grab the title and not care about it and be, a little bit more unpredictable, I think. She's a great performer, so hopefully she gets that push she needs and she sticks with the more edgy character versus like just following Candice LeRae around like a sad puppy. Next on the list is Shinsuke Nakamura. He has been gone forever. It's been so long I forgot how he wrestles. But whenever Shinsuke Nakamura gets in the ring and puts on a really good performance, you know why they hired him. Shinsuke Nakamura is amazing. He's supposed to be returning this week on SmackDown, so that'd be good to see him get back in the squared circle and take somebody on. Looking forward to that. And hopefully it leads to something a little bit bigger. I heard someone, I don't remember who, so apologies. They pitched, it was Freddie Prinze Jr. on his podcast, Wrestling with Freddie, where he pitched Paul Heyman taking on a Japanese or a wrestler who doesn't speak English. I think Shinsuke Nakamura would be a fantastic Paul Heyman guy. In that vein, you need to start pushing Xia Li. They brought her back for nothing. They brought her back to take L's. At some point, she had like a shadowy gimmick where she beat somebody up in a hood, and then they just revealed who it was immediately after. But she's gone nowhere fast, and she's a fantastic performer. But she's taking L's to, it was leading up to WrestleMania season, so she was the fodder for some of the women's division. So now hopefully they can do a little reshuffling and get Xia Li back in the limelight as a potential, dethroner for either Bianca Belair or Rhea Ripley. Hopefully they do away with her gimmick a bit. It's a little on the nose culturally, I guess. Maybe give her something a little, or maybe she does like it. I don't know. Let me not ascribe my own feelings onto her gimmick. Whatever her gimmick is, hopefully she gets it over and she gets the push that she requires. Karrion Kross is the next one. They brought him in. He's done nothing. They put him in that battle royale. He got no shine, and he made a decent, a decent return when he gave Roman the, TikTok, your time is up. But then they quickly just got rid of all momentum by having him lose a bunch, especially to Drew McIntyre, who kept losing to Roman Reigns. So it kind of negated his return, but now they can shake off a lot of that stuff, have him reevaluate some stuff, and get back in the ring and start getting some wins, because I think people will be receptive to Karrion Kross. He is a great performer, great wrestler, and if he gets the chance, I don't know if he's going to be able to beat Roman, because that's kind of Cody's job at the moment, but he can definitely, make a run for the IC title, and if he gets it, awesome. And last but not least, Drew Gulak. Drew Gulak is another amazing technical wrestler. He does not get the shine he deserves. There was a time, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, where he got into a program with, what's his name? Daniel Bryan. And they were having these incredible matches, and then they just stopped. And I really thought that Drew Gulak was going to get put over in those matches. He was putting on wrestling clinics with Daniel Bryan, and nothing came of it. So hopefully they can circle back around, maybe tag him up with Chad Gable for a bit and let them get some shine. Who knows? Who do you think should get a post-Mania push? Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for listening. What did you think of my list? Tell a friend, and don't forget,
I'm your friend, but if I ever see you in the ring, I can beat you. Don't you know? Yeah, yeah, yeah.